Hey, good morning. I wanted to spend a few minutes trying to describe a way of thinking about how our brain works, and thinking about it in terms of a pendulum of yes and no. So, our emotions and our body sensations are what they are. They act the way they do, and whether you can understand that or that's a different conversation for another video, your emotions and sensations just simply are. Our brain works in a different way, though, in that it is designed on purpose and serves a function of being able to divide between yes and no. And that function allows us to make decisions of splitting things into good or bad, or fight or run, or yes, eat this, it's safe, no, don't eat this, it's safe. And you can see this in the way that we make decisions all day long, every day. And it's difficult for our brains to slow down because it's designed to sort into different categories. This is important to understand because our brain ends up working like a pendulum of swinging back and forth and deciding yes and no. And the easiest, simplest places in order to make a decision are those binary ends of yes and no. Without going into the physics of how a pendulum swings, the only place on the pendulum where the decision process stops and comes to a complete stop is at the endpoints. Yes or no. And everything in between is in motion and makes things more difficult. So our brains try to sort to those extremes of 1 and 0. This is evident in knowing that when you put something in your mouth and it's rotten, your brain is immediately able to decide, no, don't eat that. Or that your teenager is able to convince you with an honest opinion that yes, they will die if they do not get those concert tickets. This serves as a really important function, but it's different than how our emotions work. So then, in understanding that your decision process is a pendulum, it becomes more difficult to make decisions in between on the swings of back and forth. And coming to the world with a philosophy of only yes or only no limits the possibilities of solutions. And being able to make decisions of yes and no allows us to be able to resolve conflicts, to make decisions where we may not be 100% convinced that we're making the right decision, but there's a broader range of possibilities when we start to negotiate or collaborate with ourselves and others, whether that's a personal decision or a business decision, in making that yes and no. Ironically, the only place of being able to align our head, heart, and body is when the pendulum swings down through the middle and we're able to have balance of yes and no. Where in your life are you making decisions at the extremes? We're wired to make the simplest decision where we can say 100% or a 0%. That's not how the world works, especially when we meet other people who are trying to make different decisions based on different values and priorities. Where are you making yes or no decisions, and how is it possible with your business, with your family, with your loved ones to make yes and no decisions and have some sense of congruency with it being okay for the world to be yes and no instead of yes or no? Take some time this week to think about how you function in that decision-making process. Watch as you're deciding what to eat for dinner, where to go out to eat for dinner, what movie you're going to watch or TV show you're going to watch in the evening, how you're going to respond to an email or a phone call. Because those extremes of yes or no might not be the answer that you actually need in terms of something in the middle of yes and no. Your brain is wired on that pendulum on purpose. The challenge is to figure out some way to find some balance. I hope this has been helpful. If you have any questions or comments, please do not hesitate to comment in the comment section below. I'm John Rhoads, and as always, I hope you're able to find purpose and meaning in your day today.